In terms of sounding a bit rafferish, quite a few, say, good fan accounts with bad stats of how Liverpool are going at the moment. And there's maybe context. There's some things I think you could argue. There's some things I think are pretty nailed on. This one I thought was a great tweet by Sean Rogers. So shout out to him for this one. Look at that. Liverpool's away record in 2025. Played 22, won 8, drawn 3, lost 11. 5 defeats from the last 6 away. I mean, to have lost half the away games this calendar year is bad. There's a bit of context to that, and it's important to say, because David Lynch mentioned it on Media Matters when everyone's bringing all the stats in. Remember, we were on the piss at the end of last season, weren't we? We were messing around. We kind of phoned it in, especially. So that's got to be in the stats and in the mix. The one thing I thought that was quite stark, as Sean put, and it is telling, 5 defeats from the last 6 away. Liverpool are weak away from home. I don't really think you can put it any other way for me. Neil Cordwell there as well saying in the chat, we need to start getting back to the habit of having clean sheets. I think we all hope, Neil, we'd start to see it in the start of this week, hadn't we? With clean sheet against Villa, clean sheet against Real of all teams as well. But that looks like it's been well and truly eviscerated. It's got to be the thing, though, that Arne Slot works on. In terms of other horrible stats that you saw as well, I think everyone's seen this one. For a shout out to the Tactical Times. When Liverpool lost against City, since that PSG exit last season in the Champions League, they'll have lost 40% of their games. Now, again, to mention a few where they were on the piss at the end of the season and all that, but even with that, the percentage is too high. It just really is. It's not acceptable, really, is it? And I know Virgil's talked before about he's called a meeting and all these bits. And if a meeting's going to do the job this time, things just need to change quickly. But it's just another horrid stat. And they keep coming, to be honest. Even Opta are getting in on the mix. Look at this. Only 3 reigning Premier League champions have won fewer points from the opening 11 games of the season than Liverpool in 25-26. We've got 18. The last team to win an English top 5 title after winning 18 points or fewer from the opening 11 games were Everton in 86 and 87. Can Liverpool turn it around? That's almost where we are right now. That's the embarrassment of the stats. People Opta are referencing blue noses in the tweets. That's, how bad it is right now. And even McGann put in there, loss record in 25 is embarrassing. I know people like to write off the end of season, but that level of effort is still there today. Even before PSG, you had Plymouth and the Carabao Cup final. Yeah, some bad results, probably in both of those, especially the Carabao Cup final as well. You thought about the lack of physicality. You thought about how weak we looked in that game. Newcastle bullied us, essentially. And you probably thought, in the summer, well, Liverpool will bring physicality in, won't they? They'll make signings. They'll sort that element. And yet they didn't. We bought all, I don't know what you call them, ballers, great footballers, but no physicality. And that's been a bit of a theme on the social media today, hasn't it? Look at that. What a name for an account. An LFC fan, as he tweeted, again, why did we spend 400 million to make the team worse? Still don't see any sign of a plan. And as Rory put it that way, that is the question you have to ask over and over again. I think we're all struggling with this one, aren't we? I think it's probably 450 million. No one will know the exact fees, of course, but when you stack it all up, and yes, they recouped huge amounts, but we spent big money on certain players, and the team does look worse. You can't argue any different at all. I think the second part of that is also the bit of the worry. Still struggling to see signs of a plan. you kind of saw it. We've got to be balanced on this as fans, and everyone's entitled to the view. We saw it a little bit of semblance of plan of what we wanted from Villa game and the Real Madrid, almost back to last season a little bit, and that seemed quite a good idea. But then again, City is like, what? Have we just stopped that? Are we going passive? Like, no high press, low. What are we doing again? And the whole thing just looked completely disconnected, didn't it? And people will talk about reactions. And shout out to Josh Williams. He said, people's reactions can be strong on this, but it's when the tactical battle's lost, this will be the knock-on effect. And for me, yes, completely out sort of gunned in that slot by Guardiola, but I thought we were outfought as well. And I hate saying that. Again, weak, soft touch, whatever phrase you want to use, it just keeps coming up time and time again. So yeah, 400 million, as it said there, and the team looks worse. And shout out to Moby on this one, because I'll be honest, this feels like my sentiments a lot. You should never just, as Moby tweeted here, one should never just turn to the market to solve structure, tactical shortcomings. But a dual winning midfielder with a passing range is so badly missing in our team. It's incredibly easy to play through the midfield. We won 5 out of 24 duels in midfield yesterday. I think, Barca Bosley, the midfield was pretty. I think McAllister and Gravenberch were horrendous. Not going to dress that up in any way at all. But it is my thoughts, and I've said it on a few pods now. Yeah, you spent 450 million, and I agree. We shouldn't just be looking to solve that. I do think Slot could be better in terms of the setup, the plan, and everything like that. Mask the deficiencies or paper over the cracks a little bit. But they're going to have to spend again to fully solve it, aren't they? Yeah, you need a midfielder that does win their battles, can pass as well. And you've all seen the names. You probably all like a lot of them that you've heard. That Elliot Anderson would love that. People be attracted to that. People look at Adam Wharton for the progressive nature. People talk about Baleba because of that aggression, the ability to win the ball. I think they'd all almost do a job for us at the moment. There's no two ways about it. Because the recruitment so far, and it might be different in the longer term, but we're looking at it right now, as people are saying, isn't looking great. And it's that semblance of a plan that's the worry for you as well. Shout out to another good tweet on this, Steve McVeigh. It's interesting. Nothing wrong with Liverpool signings. They're all good players. They're here for 5 or 6 years, not 5 months. We misprofiled at right back and never addressed the Diaz departure. The build-up remains appalling. No excuses post-break. Sink or swim time. Does feel a bit that way, doesn't it, with everything that's coming up? This run, which we'll talk about as well, you feel like we've got to, win the great majority, if not all of them, to get it back on track. So that's absolutely correct. I get what he's saying as well. They are good players, not just bad players, the ones who recruited. That doesn't just happen overnight. It's interesting that as a statement, isn't it? We misprofiled at right back. Jeremy Frimpong's, he's had a nightmare, hasn't he, so far with injuries. But you think if you're going to sign Jeremy Frimpong to go with Milos Kerkez, flying fullbacks is the nature. Not once have we seen that so far this season. No alluding to it either, really. Kerkez quite often, when he's playing, pinned at the hip of Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, so there's that. Addressed the Diaz departure. I think we all thought it was good business, didn't we, when Luis Diaz went? 65 million, 28 years old, not long left on his contract. But I think we all assumed at the same time there'd be a replacement because Cody Gakpo, an unused Rio and Gamoa, doesn't seem to be it. And again, I know people will jump on me and say Florian Wirtz, which, but that doesn't give us the pace, the directness, does it? Which does look lacking in our attack right now. No one's got searing pace, isn't there, to just, go over a team or just give something different. Speed, look at Doku yesterday. That speed, it terrifies teams. It can just make things happen. 450 million. Liverpool don't have that right now. Interesting there. Neil saying as well, Slot doesn't seem to have the type of players to suit the way he wants to play? Is there a communication problem with the recruitment team? Not sure on that, Neil, realistically. We don't think we've got any evidence to support that. But you'll never know fully because obviously Arne Slot reports to Richard Hughes how everything works. But the suggestions are that obviously Arne Slot has a say, we'll talk about what he wants and Richard Hughes will go from there. So I don't think we've got any evidence whatsoever of a communication or Slot not getting players he wants. I think the biggest question to ask right now is Arne Slot getting the maximum out of the players he has? And I'm struggling to come up with a positive answer to that right now. But some people may see it differently. But yeah, shout out to Stephen B. I thought that was a very fair tweet. In terms of what's coming up as well, so Lewis Steele had this little known fact if you didn't know. Lewis Xavier Steele, that's his middle name. So the good thing for Liverpool is 7 of the next 9 Premier League games between now and January the 4th are against bottom half teams. Get a run of wins together and you can still make a good season, whatever that is. The bad thing is play like they've done and things may get better before they get worse. That is true. You look at the fixtures coming up. On paper, they look pretty favourable, don't they? There's quite a few home games, even the aways where we're stinking at the moment. You're looking and thinking, well, they're not a team in form. We should be able to get something there as well. It is the run I say we need. Time will tell on this, but it feels pivotal, as Lewis alludes there. You've got to get a positive run of results going. If you don't get it from this coming towards Christmas time and a busy period, if you think those question marks around Arne Slot, there'll be bells ringing around him if this isn't a good run. And just in case anyone has missed it, I'll put it on the screen there. Look at this. When we come back, 22nd of November, Forest at home. Then the 26th of November, midweek, PSV in the Champions League. Sunday, the 30th of November, away to West Ham, who've been pretty abject this season, although, they start to win a few games typically, just as we've come round. Sunderland at home after that. Leeds away, again, a rubbish team, in rubbish form. Important to say there at the moment. Inter Milan away is always going to be tough, but as you come into December, Brighton at home, Tottenham away, and Wolves right at the bottom of the table at home. When you look at those games on paper, you're expecting a lot of green ticks. It's fair to say, I don't think you can dress it up any differently. As Lewis alluded to as well, and we're all thinking this, if Liverpool to salvage anything from this season, and, there's got to be minimums, we need to get in that Champions League. We need to get as far as we can in the Champions League itself as well. Yeah. Got to be a good run coming up. As Helio Matis said, that Liverpool have only won 11 of their 27 games in the Premier League, Champions League and League Cup since that penalty shootout as well. That's less than half, isn't it? And lost 40%. Yeah. I was trying to cheer you up a little bit from this international break. I would promise as well. Let's do a little things that might cheer you up. Look at this. Scouse not Italian. Federico Chiesa has rejected his call up to the Italy national team. As the manager, Gattuso, said, speak often with Chiesa. We simply need to respect the decision each one of us makes and the issues we have. There's nothing else for me to say. That is the truth. So Chiesa will stay behind on Merseyside like the last few international breaks. The thing which I feel sorry for is, barring a nuclear meltdown, I don't know what it's going to take for Federico Chiesa to get into this team or to really be given a chance. Because every time we see him, we kind of like what we see and everyone's like, yeah, great, the attitude, the effort, the impact. Sometimes it's simple as it is complicated. Arne Slot just does not fancy Federico Chiesa. I don't really see how you dress it up any differently at all. But there you go. Chiesa, Curtis Jones, Joe Gomez, they'll all be staying behind on Merseyside for this international break. They've not got much action, have they, recently? Although, this is, I mean, shout out to Lewis Bower who tweeted this, but it's a bit strange, this, isn't it? Look at this. Probably not the highest general concern of most fans by any means, but Liverpool under 18s, under 19s, under 21, and the first team twice all played this week, all of which Rio Ngamoa is eligible for. 0 minutes. Actually, not perhaps an indictment against Slot, but the overall management argument he would and shouldn't play against Real Madrid. Okay, I agree, but let him play the Youth League game then. Same for Man City in reference to the under-21s who played Friday. It's looking a bit bizarre by, every minute. And he actually said on the transfer show a good week ago when people sort of scoffed at it, that our info was that the whole pushing of Ngamoa in that pathway, that Richard Hughes was driving that realistically to Arne Slot more than anything else. You can go back and check. We said that on the transfer show. The fact they say, but 0 minutes, is that really helping his development? All right, we talk about the senior team and everything like that, but he's a little bit strange, isn't it? Don't really get that one from Arne Slot at all. In terms of wingers, though, I've seen a few tweeting this. This is probably the breaking news in terms of transfers, isn't it? Rodrygo, a player we were linked with a lot, is very unhappy with his role at Real Madrid this season, and he's now seriously open to leaving the club in January. Linked with us a lot in the summer, wasn't he? There's a lot of fans want him in. People will be talking about Semenyo as well. I don't think, Rodrigo's not a steering pace type of winger, is he? In that regard, he's a different player. People look at other things, but as much as we're talking attackers, I don't think it is the position or the positions, plural, that we want to see reinforcements in right now, is it? But I only want to see probably reinforcements in January. In the immediate future, I want to see more guts, more heart, more determination, more semblance of a plan. And coming up towards Christmas, I'm not saying we need Band-Aid, but we need a bit more hope, really, or something to work with. We want to see more results, more things there. Those run of fixtures, as a few are pointed out, on paper, they're favourable. In the real world, Liverpool need to turn a lot of those into 3 points. That is all that will be acceptable. Listen, we're going through an absolutely shitty season, it seems. It was a terrible result, but I do always enjoy doing these fan focus shows and showing the latest tweets, showing the latest Liverpool fans' takes from other accounts as well. Always important to put those on the table. As I always say, far more better than the shite pundits you get in the national media. People that actually watch us, care about us, and can give rational and reasoned take. Whether you agree with it or not is a different mix, but that is what we want to do with this show. It is the international break. There's a bit of a gap now, the 22nd, isn't it, until Daishi brings Forest to Anfield. Let's hope everyone comes back fit. Christ, let's hope there's some positivity around the corner. But on Monday, the 10th of November, that, ladies and gents, was another fan focus for Anfield Index.